It's so easy to think that hormones are to blame for our acne. We hear it all the time, hormonal acne. But here's the thing, focusing on hormones alone is kind of like putting a band-aid over a leaking pipe, because the health of our gut and our detoxification system heavily impact the health of our hormones. Now, we're moving into part 3 of the 5 acne clearing pillars. You can go back and watch part 1, which is gut health, and part 2, which is detoxification. But I'm gonna give a quick overview, just kind of link it all together if you missed those other 2 videos. Now, our hormones, absolutely, they're gonna have a play in the health of our skin and our acne, but they're not working alone. I always like to explain the acne clearing house. The foundation is going to be our gut. We need a really strong foundation before we put on the walls to the house, which is going to be a detoxification system. And we need a really strong foundation, really sturdy walls before we can be putting the roof on, which is our hormones, in order to make sure that our hormones are going to withstand the test of time for years to come on this acne clearing house. And the reason being is because our gut is responsible for manufacturing, regulating, and metabolizing so many of our hormones. And our detoxification system, like say our liver, our lymphatic, our kidneys, our liver and our kidneys especially are helping to filter our hormones. So if our liver and kidneys are struggling, we're going to be seeing hormonal imbalances pop up as well. So this is why so many women fail at balancing their hormones, because they focus solely on their hormones when they don't realize there's 2 other body systems that really come into play here. So when we're looking at our hormones as well, let's kind of break down what are some really common hormonal imbalances we see for our acne clients and some signs that we can be looking out for. And then we're going to finish it up with some tips and strategies that we're using to help improve the health of our hormones. Now, a really big one that we do see is going to be an estrogen dominance, where we either have way too much estrogen in the body or we have too much estrogen in relation to our progesterone. These 2 sex hormones really need to be in the right balance, in the right ratio, in order for them to be effectively working together. Now, we have to remember that our hormones are basically like an orchestra in our body. When all of the hormones are working well, they're all playing in tune, and there's this beautiful melody within the body, and we're feeling really great. But if just one of those hormones are out of tune, you are really going to hear it in the melody, and you're going to start seeing symptoms like irregular periods, heavy painful periods, maybe we're getting PMS, mood swings, maybe you're not sleeping well, we have low energy. So many things can start popping up, all because our hormones aren't in a really great spot. Now, when we're looking at something like an estrogen dominance, the estrogen, heavily relies on the health of the gut, because in your gut, this is where a lot of our estrogen is going to be metabolized and regulated. So if our gut is struggling with, we're dealing with imbalances in our gut microbiome, our estrogen is going to be struggling as well. And also our body uses our stool or our poop to get rid of the excess estrogen. So if we're not having healthy bowel movements, then we're going to be seeing an increase of estrogen in the body. Now, if you want to learn more about healthy bowel movements, go back a few videos to the very first one in our series to be looking at the health of the gut. So what happens when we have an estrogen dominance going on? So if we're dealing with an estrogen dominance, this is actually going to be increasing inflammation in the body. It's going to be increasing oil production in the skin, which is clogging pores and leading to more breakouts. So in order to really love up our estrogen, we want to be making sure that our liver is detoxifying well. So maybe we're eating some great cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, kale. Reminder, go back to the part 2 of this series when we talk about detoxification to get some more in-depth tips there. But also be making sure that you're having healthy bowel movements. We want to be increasing fiber in our day. So slowly increasing to about 35 to 45 grams of fiber throughout the day. And we can be getting fiber from, of course, things like our quinoa, but also nuts, seeds, raspberries, avocado. There's so many great fruits and vegetables that are going to be increasing that fiber content for us as well. Then we're going to be moving into another really common hormonal imbalance that we see, which is high androgens. So androgens are a group of hormones like, say, your testosterone. And this is really common where we'll be seeing high androgens leading to a thickening of the skin cells. We're going to be seeing an overproduction of sebum in the skin, and maybe we're dealing with the oily skin. Maybe we have hair thinning, maybe we have hair growing in places we don't want, like chin hairs or chest hairs. This is all symptoms and signals that maybe we're dealing with an androgen issue in our body, which is driving our acne. Also, issues with our blood sugar and our cortisol are further going to be impacting androgens as well. So things we can start doing is working on stress reduction, but also balancing our blood sugar. So balancing our blood sugar can be as easy as not skipping meals, coffee is not a meal, and making sure we're having really healthy protein, fiber, and healthy fats with every single meal to be keeping our blood sugar levels really stable. Now, an example of your protein would be things like, say, your animal-based eater, so your chicken, your turkey, maybe your sustainable fish, maybe we're looking at grass-fed beef, pasture-raised eggs, or if you're a plant-based eater, this would be your lentils, legumes, your nuts, your seeds. Then moving into things like fiber, which we already talked about, so raspberries, raspberries, avocado, quinoa, nuts, seeds are all great sources as well. And then rounding that out would be healthy fat. So this is going to be your extra virgin olive oil, avocado, coconut milk, coconut oil, nuts, seeds. And if you want a better in-depth insight at the protein, fiber, and fat, I'm also going to link to a blog we have in the show notes on mastering your blood sugar as well. Then we want to be moving into our cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone. This is a really important hormone for acne sufferers to be aware of. Now, when our cortisol is sent on a joyride, this is also going to be impacting our androgens and increasing a sebum production in the skin, which is leading to breakouts. This is why we want to be including some really great stress reduction practices. It's going to be different for anybody. Maybe you're someone that likes meditating or deep breathing or walking in nature or dancing or painting, just whatever is going to bring down your stress levels in a day, start doing it because it's going to be so helpful for your hormones. Another one we want to be looking at is going to be insulin. So again, connected to our blood sugar. If our blood sugar levels are sent on that joyride, it's going to be impacting our cortisol and our androgens, leading to more sebum production and leading to more breakouts. So keeping that stable blood sugar is going to be really important as well. Now, finishing this up is going to be our thyroid hormones. Now, when we're dealing with a low thyroid function like hypothyroidism, this is actually going to slow down metabolism and detoxification and make it a little more difficult to eliminate toxins from the body. But if we're dealing with thyroid issues, we can also see it impacting our body's ability to produce progesterone. And if we link that back to the earlier one where we're talking about an estrogen dominance, where we have too much estrogen in relation to the progesterone, we can see how this starts to create a cascading effect because all of our hormones are all working together to create that really beautiful hormonal orchestra. So I know we talked about some tips that we can be doing to love up our hormones throughout, but let's give a few more insights. So one, go back and listen to the gut health video and go back and listen to the detoxification video because the health of your hormones heavily rely on the health of your gut and your detoxification organs. Now this is where we want to be getting into a lot of lifestyle habits. So not skipping meals, having protein, fiber, and fat with our meals. We want to be making sure we're getting quality sleep. So if you're somebody that has control over your schedule, you're not working night shifts, really getting anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, consistent sleep-wake schedule, going to bed about 10:30. I'm sorry, please don't do the doom scrolling on social media. And then waking up, say between 6 and 7. This is giving your body a really nice way to keep its circadian rhythms in check and really love up our hormones. Because while we're sleeping, our body actually starts to lower cortisol. So for someone dealing with cortisol issues, we want to be getting that sleep in so we can be having that cortisol in a really healthy spot as well. So we want to be not skipping meals, protein, fiber, fat. We want to be sleeping well. And the final one is stress reduction. I know we already talked about it, but I'm going to say it again. We really need to be looking at the stress in our lives. We live such busy lives. And when we're go all the time, we're not finding time for rest or time for joy. This is going to really be impacting our stress levels and our cortisol. And when we're looking at our cortisol and our stress, this can really be such a silent killer. It's impacting so many different areas of the body. So this is your sign to start including some type of stress reduction practice in your day-to-day. And I'll actually link to a blog or podcast we have on this, because when you can really start to understand how this is impacting your body, we can start making those shifts as well. And the last one is just a quick reminder why we want to have the fiber and healthy fats for hormones. Fiber is going to help us excrete the excess hormones like the estrogen through the stool, and healthy fats are really critical for proper hormone production as well. Okay, that is part 3 of the 5-part series we're doing here on the 5 acne clearing pillars. Coming up next week, we are going to be doing emotional well-being. Now remember, if you want to learn more about working with us in the Clear Skin Solution, check the caption below to learn more about that. Make sure to subscribe so you get notified when our next video is out. And while you're there, give us a like.